gosh. Muffin's experience has a level of time. The little spikes can take extra damage.
But he makes it
for free.
Wow. I'll save anywhere for him.
Oh! Muffin! Wilson! Wilson! What are you doing? No! What are you doing?
Oh, no. Still. Oh! Oh! Hellreach on saving him again!
Yes, I hope he remembers that top left keystone, because that's dash. That's huge.
Oh, he forgot it! He doesn't remember. Oh, no!
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Ori and the Blind Forest Randomizer Tournament 2018. We have today a match between JHobz and Galaxy. They're both at 1 and 2, and so will be fighting for their tournament bracket lives in this match. With me today on commentary is Grimelios. Grim, how you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good, just chilling. How are you?
Doing all right. Looking forward to this match.
Yeah, me too. As you said, there are some stakes to this match being this late in the Swiss round. One of these runners will not be advancing to brackets, and a very obvious but important point that you mentioned before we got started is that even the winner isn't going to be in the clear. For either Hobbs or Galaxy to advance to brackets, they need to win both this and their next match. So we'll see how they do.
That's correct, and looking at the people who have made it to 2-2 so far, even that's not exactly a safe place to be.
No. Turns out that there are a lot of talented Ori players, and the randomizer has a way of equalizing things by screwing people over equally at different times, which is kind of endearing in a way, and in a much different way, it's much less endearing.
That is very, very true.
Yeah, so what do you think we expect to see out of this race? Do you have any predictions for who's going to take the victory, and why do you think that might be?
Well, I think JHobz has a bit of an advantage here. He's got a lot more experience with Ori and the randomizer specifically. Galaxy has a lot of general speedrunning experience. She runs a lot of different games, but she's very new to Ori and to the randomizer. So I would give Hobbs an edge in that regard. But like you said before, this is the randomizer. Anything can happen.
That's right. We will be getting kicked off any moment now. It's always kind of a fun game we play to try to predict what the first item will be. My prediction is going to be wall jump.
Wall jump's a nice one to have early. I'm going to go with climb.
So we have double wall interaction predictions. Probably just to spite us, we're now going to get like no wall interaction for half the seed or something like that.
I really hope not. Wall interactionless seeds are a little bit difficult to play.
Yeah, well, we are off. We saw some good luck on your randomizers. It was just a keystone, which is almost certainly the most common pickup. I don't have the actual numbers in front of me, but it's very commonly a keystone.
Yeah, a lot of these paths that the randomizer gives to us will want us to go into left glades immediately, and so 2 of these first 4 keystones, or first 4 pickups rather, have to be keystones for that to happen.
That's right. Hobbs on the left, I think, is just very slightly ahead. Got just a bit of an earlier start than Galaxy. Climb was the second pickup, so you were nearly correct, Hell.
That I wasn't expecting that, but I'll take it.
That's right. Getting climb early and the keystone is interesting. An early keystone, as you mentioned, indicates that going to wall jump area is likely going to be progression, since one of the next 2 pickups could be a keystone here. But climb instantly, with nothing else, gets you access to Blackroot burrows. I'm sure that both runners will check the remaining 2 pickups over to the left before dropping down.
Yeah, and if I were in their shoes, I'd be hoping for another keystone. Climb only Blackroot is a bit of a pain to do.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Especially, I find the pickup at the bottom is very cumbersome to get with climb only. Second pickup is a mapstone, 1 remaining to be a keystone. Otherwise, we're on our way to the spooky, dark Blackroot burrows.
That's correct. Though a mapstone does bode a little bit well for them. Oh, nope, and they've got bash. So what does an early bash suggest to you, Grim?
Early bash, by itself, doesn't do a whole lot. It's going to speed up Blackroot a little bit. It also opens up some pickups. Like, yep, here JHobz is going to grab this Frankie. He's going to do what appears to be a Frankie walk. Of course, he's not going to finish the Frankie walk. He's just going to bring the Frankie in order to get an experience pickup. Whereas Galaxy is skipping this pickup and deciding to go to Blackroot early. So whether this pays off for JHobz, we will see. But this is one of the few things that Bash opens up sort of without any other abilities at the moment.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, if this does pay off for JHobz, which it looks like it hasn't, he just got a Spirit Flame upgrade for it.
Well, I'd call that half paying off. It's not, you know, a skill, it's not a Water Vein or something like that. But Spirit Flame upgrade is wonderful because at the moment the only combat abilities that Ori has at his disposal is Spirit Flame. And having the Spirit Flame upgrade, you can see how quickly JHobz on the left is able to take out all of those brambles. So it's a nice early game pickup, even though
that's very true. That is very true.
Progression. Yeah, so I guess for the time being, pay attention to the right, because for the moment, Galaxy is ahead of JHobz in Blackroot due to that little detour JHobz took. This is what I was curious about. How you play Randomizer, you know how slow this pickup is to get with only climb.
Yeah, I do, and not only is it slow, but the two spiders up on the ceiling will do their absolute best to shoot you off of these platforms as you're waiting on them.
Yeah, this pickup is always... I don't know if I call it a gamble. That's the wrong term. It's in logic. I mean, as you can see, there's nothing weird about what Galaxy is doing. This is actually the intended way to reach this pickup. That said, it's very, very slow. But with so few pickups available, it has a decent likelihood at being something valuable. JHobz might decide to either skip it. It was just energy regen. JHobz is actually going to do a climb-only version to get up here. This is not that easy to do.
I actually haven't seen this before. I saw him, it looked like trying to bait a spider shot, and I was expecting him to use bash on one of those to get up to the top.
Yeah, this is much more difficult than the wall jump version. Almost got it. Basically, climb gives you some acceleration as you go up a wall, and so you need to be positioned correctly in order to sort of ramp up past the barricade. JHobz decided to abandon it and head back into Blackroot. Galaxy is having some trouble getting the Frankie down that platform. Is just swinging like crazy. So Galaxy is going to get that same Spirit Flame upgrade, but it is going to put JHobz in the lead for the time being.
Yeah, and we'll see what path he decides to take through the rest of Blackroot. He could feasibly get to the pickup on the roof here, but we'll see if he decides to go for that. Yeah, it looks like he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
That was spooky for Galaxy. Yep. Nice bash by JHobz. That bash glide to get to the lantern, it's not that hard, but it's not the easiest bash glide in the game either. And if you fall, you have to, you know, take an extra 15 seconds or whatever it is to climb back up the platforms. But JHobz is into the dash room. Galaxy just now coming back into Blackroot to follow in JHobz's footsteps.
That's right. We'll have to see if Galaxy gets that bash glide and what she does with her health here, because she is only on 1.
I'm going to be honest, I forgot that they had bash for a moment. So like when JHobz was down trying to get that pickup that's a pain to get with Climb, the experience orb, he could have baited a spider shot. Maybe it just slipped JHobz's mind or something like that.
Well, it looked like he was trying to do some hops on those vertical blue platforms to bait a spider shot, but none of them seemed to take him up on it.
The spiders are just being a little bit stingy with their projectiles today.
We'll hope that they aren't stingy as our runners continue through the seed, because stingy spiders are a bit of a bummer.
Yeah, a minor thing to point out on Galaxy's side of the screen on the right, Galaxy made a save before jumping over to the left, which means that Galaxy doesn't have a save to do either variation of the cutscene skips when you activate the darkness lifted cutscene here. So that's going to be slightly more time for JHobz.
Yeah, and here we have JHobz going off to the left, using that autosave, and he'll drop down to get this ability cell and see what that is. And gets just a keystone, but potentially a very valuable keystone. Oh, takes a death.
So yeah, I was wondering if he's going to keep it. A keystone is another one of those pickups that it isn't that exciting in its own right, but it is pretty important. JHobz is going to try to take one of these projectiles and just... Actually, no, he's going back to the left. This is smart. He wants to check this pickup too.
Yeah, good memory on JHobz to remember that he didn't get that pickup.
Yep, with the keystone in his possession, JHobz is just going to head over to the left, he can now go into the wall jump area. He would also have an option to head back into Black Root and continue further down into the boulder area. What do you think of going to wall jump as opposed to that?
Well, with climb only, there is... I know that everything beyond the boulder escape is... or beyond the boulder there is not in logic. And even that XP orb right there might not be.
I think the XP orb is... JHobz found Snot, by the way.
Yeah, that's definitely going to pay off for him here.
That's one instance where... without Bash, that's a pickup that's common to skip for later. JHobz also has enough keystones to head into Spirit Caverns. Looks like he is not going to go into Spirit Caverns right now, but he opened the door for later.
Yeah, he's going to go and plug that first mapstone in. On the right, Galaxy's actually doing a nice series of double bashes here to get back up out of the spike pit where she found the keystone on that ability cell.
Yeah, that ability cell in the center of the Black Root room is tricky because, as you can see from Galaxy, it takes so long to ride these platforms up. With Charge Jump, it's fast. You can also double bash projectiles, which Galaxy, I think, got about halfway with. So it's pretty common for runners to alt-R and come back in instead. Like JHobz effectively alt-R'd after he checked that stuff. But yeah, for the time being, I'd say continue paying attention to the left. JHobz is in a rather pickup dense area, and so it's rather likely that we find even more progression in here somewhere.
Oh, and a Mega Energy. We'll have to see where he decides to use that. On the right, Galaxy heading down to this boulder escape area. We'll see what she does with that tricky climb sequence.
Well, and actually, this is a good point. This pickup, nice micro ledge.
Nice micro ledge.
That's kind of... You can make that with just climb only and kind of using your climb momentum, but it's hard. That micro ledge, you have to know how to do it. But once you do, in my opinion, it's the far easier way to get past that. It's not in logic, though, to use the micro ledge, nor is doing the save anywhere. So everything that Galaxy is about to get is not in logic yet.
That's very true, and that could be to her detriment, but she could also find some pickups back here that the game just doesn't expect her to get for quite a while.
This is one moment where we could start looking at experience numbers. Generally speaking, in the randomizer, you know, the randomizer is a program, right? And as it goes through and places pickups, it has a maximum range of experience values where if a pickup happens to have XP, it can have that XP randomly assigned to it. What that means in a nutshell is that if a player finds a very high experience value, say in the like 200 to 400 or 500 range, I've seen as much as 900, but it's very, very rare. That means that the seed probably doesn't expect you to come to that zone for quite some time. So it's not like it's not a definite piece of information. But
yeah, but that's
random players can use it.
That nearly 300 XP is maybe an indication that our runners might not have the ability to get to that orb for quite some time, at least as far as the randomizer is concerned.
That's right. JHobz is now heading down into this area. Again, doesn't really care that it's not in logic yet. JHobz also has Stomp, so we can stomp the barricade down here, which will be useful later for going to Black Root, but more to the point, it causes a cutscene to not play before you activate the teleporter. But JHobz is not going to stop it right now, so he will have to watch that cutscene.
Yeah, he might also make the play. We'll have to see if he decides to make the play to go down to Light Grenade Tree early. It would be possible for him to do it with the Zombie Ori. It looks like he's got about 4 ability points saved up.
Well, the other thing about going down there is, 1, you have to get past the barricade. 2, you have to get past the laser. 3, you have to get to the actual Light Grenade Tree. And getting past the spinning laser puzzle and doing all those climbs with only these abilities, it's perfectly doable, but it's not that much fun.
That is an excellent way to put it, and JHobz has stomped that floor here before hitting the spot where the cutscene would trigger, but he had to jump back down to do it, so he's got to redo this micro ledge.
Yeah, I mean, when you call them micro ledges for a reason, they are just microscopic and tiny. But JHobz got it that time, already triggered the boulder, so he's just going to head right on through. He's going to have to do this crusher trick to get on past. At this point, we sort of have seen a flip-flop from the runners. This is an area Galaxy did first, and now JHobz is here, whereas Galaxy is going through the wall jump loop that JHobz went through. I think Spirit Caverns is... Or did Galaxy go through Spirit Caverns yet?
Galaxy's not gone through Spirit Caverns
yet.
And we might actually see a bit more of a divergence here from JHobz as he kills that poor Frankie. Nope, he's not going to go into Grotto with that Stomp Peg. He did have the option to.
I would have to guess that JHobz was hesitant going into Grotto because Grotto has a lot of plants, has a lot of pickups that are way up in the air. So without extra verticality, without plant breakage, it can be difficult to check a lot of the things down there, or even the things you can check, they're generally quite slow. So I think JHobz is just going to go out of his way back to Spirit Caverns. Spirit Caverns almost definitely has progression.
Yeah, and JHobz dropping his save there on the bridge. This will allow him, if he really needs to do some key duplication, though I wouldn't expect that to be the case.
Well, yeah, and I guess I was actually wrong a second ago. I said Spirit Caverns might have progression. It might just have keystones. And so, yeah, either this area has progression itself. There's charge dash efficiency. That doesn't matter unless dash is found, but what the heck, will take it. This is going to send them around probably to the charge flame tree.
Which would be their third tree, and that's always nice to get that early clue out of the way.
JHobz checked the keystone there. It was nothing, so he just took a death. There's the fourth keystone for JHobz, so he has the ability to key dupe. I doubt he's going to. Yep, he's going to head right on through. Galaxy is also coming back up to Spirit Caverns, so far, this is actually pretty close. Galaxy is probably only maybe 40 seconds behind JHobz, maybe less.
Yeah, a minute at most, depending on her execution in this area. JHobz goes into the valley entry and finds Grenade. So they now have the ability to break plants and blue walls. That'll be nice for them.
Yeah, it is. JHobz is going to use Bash and Grenade, a combination that we creatively call Bash Grenade, to check a lot of these pickups. That is access to verticality, and JHobz is, I think, doing a good job because JHobz plays on controller, which means that Bash Grenade is sort of inherently more difficult. Some players who are controller runners decide to switch to keyboard and mouse. JHobz is not one of them.
Yep, and JHobz is going to give us some lore here. This will let him use this teleporter in the future. There's an option to skip the cutscene with a save glitch, but if you do that, then strange things can happen if you find this teleporter pickup later in the world, and if you don't, you just can't use it, period.
That's right. Galaxy, still not far behind JHobz, got her Grenade as well. I'm sure we'll be checking the same pickups. Something else I want to point out, thank you to Skull for reminding us of this. JHobz used the Mega Energy that he got a little bit ago to open up the 4 energy door leading into the Death Gauntlet. Galaxy did not. Now, using the Mega Energy to open that door is not in logic, but that doesn't mean it can't be used to win randomizer seeds. It's a very solid play by JHobz.
Yeah, and with the tools that they have right now, it's getting into Death Gauntlet through the 4 energy doors isn't logic, but being in Death Gauntlet and by extension in Grotto area definitely is.
Yeah, that's a good point, if more roundabout. Also, with JHobz picking up his third tree, we have the first clue. The Sunstone is in Swamp. So, what do you think that clue tells us? I mean, apart from the fact that Sunstone is in Swamp.
Well, obviously, yes, it tells us that Sunstone is in Swamp, but something that would concern me seeing Sunstone in Swamp is that it might be very deep underwater, and if that's the case, I'm going to need clean water, or I'm going to need a lot of health and potentially even ultra defense to get to it. So we could be settling in for a longer seed. On the other hand, it could be in any of the not 4 pickups that are more easily accessed without access to clean water, so we'll have to see as our runners get there.
Yeah, I think that Galaxy has an opportunity here to gain a bit of time back on JHobz, because JHobz pulled the lever to lower one of these platforms, even though with Bash Grenade he doesn't actually have to. So JHobz might have done that just for comfort, I suppose, but if Galaxy doesn't pull the lever, okay, she's pulling it too. So never mind, that's going to be a bit of a wash as far as advantage or disadvantage.
It could also just be habit.
True. It absolutely could be. JHobz now in the Spider Sack area. This is an interesting seed so far because it's so linear. It's not that common in randomizers that you can so plainly say runner X is ahead of runner Y. It's usually more subjective than that, but not in this seed. I think Galaxy and JHobz have checked pretty much exactly the same things, except that JHobz is slightly ahead and he has that 4 energy door open heading into the Death Gauntlet. So
I am going to draw attention to JHobz's screen. JHobz just leveled up Ultra Magnet, so he might be trying to do something tricky with this energy crystal. Oh,
that's unlucky. Well, I guess it's not with Ultra Magnet. That was always going to happen.
And he's saving and reloading. I guess he's going to go for it again.
Yeah, this is not easy. Whenever you break an energy crystal, there is a small amount of RNG in exactly where the energy crystals fly. With Ultra Magnet, though, the energy pretty much flies to you immediately. Nice
And he
job.
gets it. Nicely done, JHobz.
That is extremely clever. I don't know that I've seen that in quite some time.
Unfortunately, only getting some experience for his trouble. So, well, he does have that information that Galaxy will not. He didn't get a whole lot out of it.
Yeah, it's kind of too bad this isn't Swamp. Or that could be, you know, one thing off the Swamp checklist. Anyway, JHobz is checking this health cell, just an ability cell. He's going to take a death rather than taking the time to climb back up. Meanwhile, JHobz also used a grenade to open up this barricade that Galaxy is about to check. So at this point, we've seen... Again, it's a very, very close race so far. At first, JHobz was ahead. Now Galaxy is, like, very slightly ahead, but that's only because JHobz checked, you know, another pickup that Galaxy hasn't.
That's right, and our runners, again, very close together here, neck and neck. Will be interesting to see if Galaxy can maintain this little bit of a lead or when they'll split off from each other.
Well, yeah, and the interesting thing, I think, is so far, the seed has been very linear, but that might not stay the case for long. As JHobz and Galaxy get into the main iceless area, they're going to have the option to go to Horror Fields to grab that health cell or not. They're going to have the option to go up to the Swamp Teleporter and around the Swamp Loop, or go to Grotto first. JHobz could even backtrack out and go through the Death Gauntlet if he wants to. So we might start to see more of a divergence in another few minutes.
That's right, and Galaxy finding our first health cell for the runners. It's a vanilla health cell on the spider health cell there that we sometimes grab in all skills.
I didn't even think about the fact that they were only at 3 health. JHobz is only at 1 health right now, so that's kind of spooky.
Yeah, and he's checking, again, another pickup that Galaxy didn't hear on this grenade door. So we'll see if that pays off for... Ooh! That's a bit of a death. Not too bad, though.
Yeah, that's something I was worried about. With Bash, you can use enemies as, you know, tools to move around, but they still deal damage if you don't do that properly. So while JHobz is checking this, Galaxy checked a few of the things in the Isos area. With Stomp active, the Kuro cutscene is also triggered, but then Galaxy is going to be able to check some plants and some map alters. There's a lot that is beginning to open up to the runners.
Yeah, and with Bash, there is a way to skip that cutscene, but you'd have to do it pretty much every time you come through this area, so it's definitely not really worth it to do that. And Galaxy finding Charge Flame. Does that open up anything for us, Grim?
Not... I don't think so, actually. I was going to say that you can use Charge Flame to break some plants that you can't physically reach. But with Stomp, you can actually get to that plant between the 2 lasers down in Grotto anyway. So it doesn't open up a whole lot. I mean, all things equal, and more skills is better, right? But it doesn't open up a whole lot since they already have Grenade.
Yeah, and JHobz on the left checking that Horrorfield's health cell, finding 7 XP for his trouble.
Yeah, JHobz, by the way, was doing some fancy shenanigans with the spider projectile, trying to prevent himself from having to go and bounce around on these little blue bouncy pads. I think he was successful with it. I don't know whether it was faster, but it looked kind of neat. Looks like JHobz is heading back down as well. He'll get his Kuro cutscene. Galaxy from the right, it should be clear, decided to head into Grotto, but is now heading around the Swamp Loop, either just for pickups or more likely because of that Sunstone clue. JHobz, we'll see if he does this or whether he heads down to Grotto proper.
Yeah, and Galaxy did have a little bit of trouble there. She was doing some blind movement behind that lasers cutscene that she skipped, and took a couple of deaths, so she lost a little bit of time there, but seems to have recovered from that.
I like the cleanliness of Galaxy's Bash Grenade play. I mean, she's on keyboard and mouse, I believe, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, so I don't mean that to sound disrespectful to her. It is easier on keyboard and mouse, but even so, I think she's using them very confidently.
Yeah, she is, and it looks like she's going to go all the way around the Swamp Loop.
JHobz on the water vein.
JHobz.
No way. That's a neat find, is what that is.
So now we'll see when JHobz decides to go into the Ginso tree. He has enough tools to complete it, so...
Now, finding the water vein there is extremely valuable, well, not only because it's the water vein, of course it's valuable, but because the first clue is Sunstone. That means that if JHobz happens to find the Sunstone you know, in short order here, or like somewhere around the swamp loop, he'll be able to completely ignore clues, which means that his incentive to rushing tree or full rushing trees will be mitigated, and his only objective will be find enough skills to beat the game.
That's very true, and in those cases, our runners can really kind of open up and go where it is that they want to go, as opposed to needing to search for specific items, which is nice.
Galaxy on the right found wall jump. It was the, I think that's an experience orb, or is it an ability cell? Past the grenade locked, well, trigger. With climb, having wall jump isn't too impactful, but wall jump is superior to climb in a lot of situations. So that'll be a welcome find.
Yeah, and especially in a lot of situations, if they were to find double jump, for example, if you try to double jump on the wall without having wall jump and only having climb, you can actually burn your double jump without getting anything out of it.
That's right. That's right, you can. So yeah, Galaxy has made a rather long loop around the swamp, again, almost certainly because of that Sunstone clue. I wouldn't be surprised to see JHobz make the same loop later on, but JHobz decided to head back, or head into Grotto first because of the pickup density in this area, and because he's going to have to go to the double jump tree anyway. I guess,
yeah, Galaxy picking up that swamp teleporter, that'll be very useful for her when she comes back to the Ginso tree, which could be very soon, given what we know from JHobz screen.
Yeah, I want to take a moment to just mention something that I know about JHobz's play, is that he tends to play every seed like it's a shard seed, meaning that he tends to be very, very thorough. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. JHobz needs a lot of resources right now, and he needs skills and teleporters and world events and whatnot. So being thorough is smart. But, for example, Galaxy decided to direct her thoroughness towards swamp at first, and is now heading in here. Galaxy just finding her water vein as well. Whereas JHobz, he has the ability to check pretty much every single pickup in Grotto, and it would not shock me if he actually decided to do so.
Yeah, and on the right we see a very different playstyle from Galaxy. She got that water vein and then immediately beelined for that Grotto teleporter and went to the swamp teleporter she just picked up. So it looks like she's going to be making an early Ginso tree play.
Clever. Now, how many keystones does Galaxy have? I think it's 2. To be quite honest, it's a little difficult to read on our restream, but I think it's 2.
Yeah, I believe that is 2, and that could be very impactful for her if she doesn't know the E-duplication setup in the Ginso tree.
Yeah, so there's multiple reasons. I mean, Galaxy could just be gambling that out of, I believe it's 6 pickups. I might be wrong. I think it's 6 pickups from here to the keystone door before Bash. Could just be gambling that at least 2 of those are keystones. Could be the case that Galaxy forgot about her keystone count and might only realize when she's closer to the door. I sincerely hope that Ginso contains some keystones.
Yeah, for her sake, I hope that as well.
First pickup was not a keystone. It was, I think, 190 experience. What's JHobz going to find, by the way, down in the Grotto Vault? Got some map stones and stuff, so that may be valuable later on.
Yep, and Galaxy finding the Valley teleporter, that's a very useful pickup to have.
Yeah, it is. That's especially nice. Well, I guess it's not as impactful here. With Bash and Stomp, you can go to Valley anyway, so you don't have to do the weird Frankie trick. But yeah, having the Valley TP is especially nice. With Feather, it would make Sorrow much, much easier as well. So I'll be keeping an eye out for whether Galaxy or JHobz finds Feather at any point.
Yeah, and Galaxy actually making a very impressive play there, making it through that teleporter in Spike's room in the Ginso tree without glide, double jump, or air dash is difficult in the best circumstances, and she just did it like it was nothing. Yeah,
it's cool to see Galaxy now in the mini boss. Can use the Spirit Flame upgrade, and she probably has Quick Flame at this point. I'm not certain. To take out a lot of things very, very quickly. JHobz, I think, cleared out pretty much the entire side of left Grotto, maybe with the exception of that experience orb way off to the left. Going to continue checking pickups, probably all the way to the double jump tree. Meanwhile, Galaxy still has not found a keystone, and there's only 4 pickups remaining, and I think the first one there is not a keystone.
Yeah, she has already checked it, and it was not a keystone, but she finds double jump.
Oh, double jump. I thought it was charge jump. All right, double jump is super good. Double jump, wall jump just makes moving around feel very, very satisfying. Unfortunately, unless Galaxy gets very lucky with these pickups, she's going to have to either back out or do a key duplication.
And there's the altar.
That's rough. Again, that may have been Galaxy forgetting. It may have been a calculated play. We can't know for certain until we talk to her. But with that, Galaxy is going to go back to the Grotto Teleporter and probably begin her loop of many of these pickups that JHobz has already checked.
That said, she will have an easier time thanks to that double jump pickup that she found in Ginso Tree, getting a lot of these than JHobz did.
Yeah, I guess with that in mind, I'm looking at JHobz's Keystone count. He just opened the door to double jump and still has 4 remaining, which means that JHobz, once he finishes the double jump tree in just a moment, will have the option to go to the Ginso Tree, and we can guarantee that he'll be able to get through the door. And knowing his thoroughness, there's no way that he doesn't find double jump as well. So that's good news for JHobz. Anyway, no new clue yet, because of course JHobz hasn't found enough trees. Galaxy's still sitting on 3 trees past the initial Spirit Flame pickup. JHobz is sitting at 4 and is going to go over to the right, using the door that he opened to go check the Death Gauntlet.
Yeah, and that's a very good routing play there. The Grotto Teleporter is actually the closest one he has to the Ginso Tree anyway, and traveling through the Death Gauntlet not only gives him the ability to check a lot of pickups, but also is nearly as fast as taking the Teleporter with the skills he has.
Yeah, that's right. JHobz also kind of conveniently had enough health to just sort of casually dive into the water, take a bunch of poison damage. The underwater ability cell was only, well, an ability cell. It was a vanilla ability cell, I suppose. Decided to take the intentional death. Got some more health, though, for his troubles.
Yeah, and is that his actual health count, or is he still working on that mega health that he found down in the Grotto Vault? That's
a great question.
Oh, he just saved and got some back, so that is his actual health cell count.
Well, that's good news because of that Sunstone Swamp pickup, right? Earlier on, you mentioned that the Sunstone could be deep underwater, and if it's deep underwater, you either need clean water or you have to damage boost. Those are your 2 options. Damage boosting, as it turns out, is way easier if you have a lot more health.
That's very true, and if they keep getting a lot of ability points, they'll even be able to get Ultra Defense, effectively doubling his health for the purposes of that damage swim.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. If you pay attention to Galaxy for a moment, we knew she was going to have an easier time traversing these things with both double jump and wall jump, and you can already see that paying off. JHobz pretty much had to traverse a lot of this stuff with climb and bash grenades, and having the wall jump double jump combination makes your movement much more smooth, in my opinion.
Yeah, JHobz on the left making this play into Swamp proper, as we call it, or Outer Swamp. Going to be breaking a barrier under the water with his grenades, and then he'll be able to check that pickup.
If this is the Sunstone, that's potentially big news, because this is one that is sort of easy to not forget about exactly, but it's one that's easy to put off for later if you're doing a full swamp check. It's not the Sunstone. JHobz looks like he's maybe hesitating for a moment, might even be trying to damage boost his way into Swamp. He doesn't have nearly enough for Ultra Defense. Gave himself the ability to breathe underwater, though, I think. Looks like he is going for the swim. I don't think he's going to be able to make it.
Yeah, without double jump, I'm surprised I didn't see him drop a save there, but he's, yep, not made it there. Unfortunately, the ability to breathe underwater doesn't do you any good when the water is poison and hurts you regardless.
That is true. Yeah, as Grease is telling us in the truck, to make that swim requires, I think, like effectively 14 hits, which is either 14 health or 7 HP and Ultra Defense. You could mitigate that a little bit with, I'm going to interrupt myself. Look at what JHobz is doing.
Yeah, he is not giving up on the Stomp Tree check, while Galaxy is finishing out her Grotto checks. JHobz is... Oh!
Oh, no! I wonder how many attempts JHobz is going to take at this. He might be just stubborn enough to keep trying it. I mean, JHobz is going to have to go here one way or the other, obviously, and the Sunstone is in here as well. So JHobz could get lucky and find it without having to go underwater. This is... the fact that this is not in logic should be pretty obvious. If you've watched any Ori Randomizer, this is not a thing that players are expected to do. JHobz is going to keep trying it. He's not going to let this trick defeat him.
So for those not familiar with the area as much, JHobz is attempting to take this spider shot all the way around through this area where he drained the water. And there's another stompable, charge jumpable floor immediately to his right and above him that he's trying to use this to break.
Oh, he's so close. Yes! I
And
think
he
he's
gets
done
it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Very impressive display from JHobz.
It is. It's going to get him into Swamp much earlier than Galaxy. Of course, with Bash, Swamp entry is also an option, and in fact, with Stomp, you'd only have to use the Swamp entry trick with the Frog to break one of the barricades. JHobz is going to quick dip underwater. Got a Keystone for his efforts. This is still good, though. I mean, Sunstone would be better, obviously, but JHobz has now opened up every Keystone door that he needs to, I think, on the right side of the map, and still has 4 left over for Water Vein.
Yeah,
Jesus, Bash.
Yeah, 5 now. He can get to Bash Tree and still have 1 left over, and that will allow him to be most of the way with... I'm sure JHobz knows how to key duplicate in Sorrow.
Oh, he definitely does, although it's not really going to be feasible without some additional abilities. Galaxy, meanwhile, is doing something interesting, using her Valley Teleporter that she found. Did she find it in Ginso? Or was it around the Swamp Loop?
Yeah, she did find it in Ginso. It was that hidden XP in the secret.
Monka S. JHobz took a death on the left side. Galaxy, it can just kind of fly through this, though. Both runners have Bash, obviously, but Galaxy has Wall Jump and Double Jump, so her movement is just so much more fluid, and Galaxy can gain speed by carrying Bash glides for longer distances through Double Jump. JHobz is back down to 1 health, has to be pretty careful here. Touching any of these spikes will kill him.
Yeah, good use of that climb and the ability to throw grenades while climbing and bash off of them there. And he finds the Sunstone.
That's a relief. At least I have to imagine that's a relief. JHobz is not going to have to do underwater swimming today.
And on the right, Galaxy going to be stomping these rocks above the bird Kuro's head. I guess as revenge for surprising her earlier.
That seems fair. So, Hal, I'm going to ask you a question. Who do you think is in the lead right now?
You know, JHobz has the Sunstone, which is a lot. Galaxy just has the clue, and it probably is still in the back of her mind that it could be underwater somewhere. But at the same time, Galaxy has those 2 extra skills that are letting her move around a lot more quickly, and she's now reached the same number of trees and found Glide, and that'll make Sorrow pass a lot easier.
Was that Vanilla Glide?
That was Vanilla Glide.
That's one of the most valuable pickups that Galaxy could find right now out of anything remaining. With Glide, Galaxy is going to have no trouble going through any of the remaining areas. And the thing about that Sunstone location, yes, JHobz has an advantage right now, but that Sunstone pickup is right next to the Stomp Tree, which means it's going to be very easy for Galaxy to find. And if Galaxy decides to rush the tree before checking other pickups, she'll save even more time.
Yeah, that's very true. And the combination of that Glide and Double Jump and now Triple Jump that she's skilled up along with Ultra Defense is allowing her to just make really short work of this Misty Woods.
Yeah, so anyway, JHobz is definitely going to the Ginso Tree here, stopped by the Swamp Teleporter. JHobz should be getting his Double Jump. Is it Double Jump and Wall Jump that are in here? No, Wall Jump is actually the experience off to the right. But JHobz will get his Double Jump in the Ginso Tree.
Yeah, I know some runners like to drop a save in front of the Ginso door and go and check some of that swamp entry, or that swamp loop. We'll see if JHobz decides to do the same.
If you're going to check that pickup anyway, it makes sense to do what you just described. That said, JHobz, by his own admission, is not necessarily the best at deciding when he should rush trees and when he should continue being more thorough. And so from him right now, I guess I don't know for sure what his mindset is, whether JHobz is going to continue being thorough, searching for pickups like Charge Jump or Glide or left side teleporters, or whether he's going to start rushing things and kind of hope that he can get through whatever he needs to get through.
Yeah, and I guess the first place that we'll really see that is once JHobz gets to the Bash Tree, if he continues through Ginso or if he altars out and goes to find more trees.
JHobz, I think, is particularly fond of continuing up in the Ginso Tree, got his Valley Teleporter. Meanwhile, Galaxy on the right made it through the first half of Misty to the Climb Tree and got Wind restored. So that means that getting to Sorrow is going to be free. Galaxy doesn't even have to do a Sorrow Bash.
Yeah, that's true. She can just use that feather that she got, vanilla, and the wind restore that she got off the climb tree, and just float up like there's nothing going on at all.
Yeah, JHobz, by the way, took a death on the left and got sent back to the beginning of the second room. And so JHobz got trapped in that room that we praised Galaxy for getting through cleanly first try. The room is, this entire Ginso tree for that matter, is designed with double jump in mind. That's why a lot of the gaps and stuff are too long to cross with, or almost too long to cross with a single jump. Yeah, this is the hard part. You have to kind of stall on this teleporter, then jump over. And JHobz died again. Didn't get sent back as far this time, but Galaxy is really starting to gain an advantage.
Yeah, and ignoring that easy Sorrow entry, Galaxy is choosing to go for the Light Grenade tree here. And it looks like she's not going to be doing a Zombie Ori. She's going to be using Bash Grenades and some jumps to get through very cleanly. Nicely done.
I'm just, I don't mean to harp on this point, but I'm really just trying to look at like the number of skill trees remaining and try to gauge who I think is likely to finish first. Galaxy has everything she needs to finish the entire game except for the Sunstone. But she will almost certainly find the Sunstone easily when she goes to the Stomp Tree. Meanwhile, JHobz will be getting his double jump pickup. I think it's either this room or the next room, but he'll be finding it in just a moment.
Right there, in fact.
Good. There's his double jump, which will be a sort of a godsend for him at this point. JHobz has already been to the Stomp Tree and has... he's already been to the Stomp Tree and he has his Sunstone. So how quickly is JHobz going to rush the left side?
That is the question. Galaxy getting a bit lucky there. She was at 0 ability points as she came into the Light Grenade area, which could have had her watching about a minute-and-a-half cutscene, but managed to find some XP and level up.
So eyes left. I want to see if JHobz is going to continue in the Ginso tree or back out. He is going to continue. If I had to guess, his reasoning is that he wants Glide, especially Charge Jump would be nice too. Of course, we know that Glide is vanilla Glide. So that's pretty cool. Thankfully, these pickups are very fast. Since JHobz has Stomp, you can use it to effectively use the Shockwave to break. I seriously doubt that Keystone Door, especially since he's already been to the swamp area, so he doesn't really have a lot of incentive to do the final escape. But there are 5 pickups remaining. There's an energy cell and then 4 keystones. Meanwhile, Galaxy is entering the Ginso tree again, since before she didn't have enough keystones to get to the Bash tree.
Yeah, and this revisit from her will be quite a bit quicker than the first time she came here. Not only does she have double jump to make that teleporter and spikes room very easy, but she doesn't have to fight the mini boss or open the key doors. Or no, she does have to open the key doors, but she doesn't have to check any pickups either.
Well, as expected, JHobz finished up the second keystone room, then backed out. If you look at his tracker, he has every single tree except for left side pickups and Light Grenade. So JHobz is going to use that same Valley Teleporter that Galaxy did to head over to the left side. Unfortunately, the Kuro Kill Plane is active, so JHobz, unless he did a fancy trick, is not going to be able to double bash his way up top. Thankfully, JHobz is going to find Feather, pretty much for free, unless he tries to go into Sorrow first, but I don't think he'll do that at the moment.
Yeah, I don't believe JHobz is the type of player to go for a Sorrow play without at least checking Feather with his current abilities.
Yeah, JHobz, by the way, is continuing to be thorough. JHobz went over to the right in order to, climb up to the area where you can stomp the rocks, but backed out instead. Took an intentional death in the water since energy regen is not very valuable. Meanwhile, what's Galaxy up to? She only has 2 trees remaining, Stomp and Charge Jump up in the Sorrow area. Looks like she's going to go left. Using Wind Restore and Glide, she can get into Sorrow very, very easily. Yeah.
Yeah, and this play makes a fair bit of sense for her. Checking as much as she can to get any more resources, just in case that Sunstone is underwater. Obviously, we know that it's not, but she doesn't.
Yeah, that is smart. Galaxy's going to need 6 keystones, so that's a good reason. JHobz, meanwhile, is just about to the area where he could do fast stompless. He's not going to do fast stompless. He's just going to, or he's going to do a different version of it. Careful,
yeah, is that a regular stompless?
This is I don't know what you call this trick. It's a something. The projectile was far too low. JHobz is in the air and got sniped, got sent all the way back down to his save point.
Oh
so he's
no,
gonna have to watch
Hobbs.
the cutscene again too. Yeah, that one hurts. Of course, Hobbs doesn't know exactly how he's doing compared to Galaxy, but this is not the easiest trick. Look at what Galaxy's doing, by the way. I believe trying to do the micro ledge trick to break through this first barricade in Sorrow Pass without. Oh my God! Okay, there's charged up. Never mind.
Well, we'll see if she knows how to terror break this.
Well, she can also.
Or
use
no, she has
charged
climb.
up.
You're right.
I mean, she has a few options. I was about to say like, oh, without rocket jumping, without charge jump. It's like, well, nope. The randomizer shall provide, I suppose.
Still looking around for some more resources. She's currently at 3 keystones, 4 if you count the one that she just found over there to the left.
Well, if Galaxy, maybe she just wants to be thorough anyway. If Galaxy doesn't realize she can do Terra Break, or if she doesn't realize that she can do Climb Charge Jump, then she could continue going for the micro ledge trick, or she can go around the long way. Looks like she is choosing to go around the long way. Got an extra double jump, which is valuable, but not worth the time it takes to go here. This is wonderful news for JHobz, though, because at this point, I think he needs this time to catch up.
Yeah, this is going to be time that, while Galaxy's spending searching this, assuming JHobz does not repeat the same search, he'll be able to use to cover some ground that Galaxy took some time to do.
Yeah, Hobbs is actually continuing to be thorough, dropping down to the bottom of Valley. He's going to double bash this frog, or attempt to double bash the frog, maybe all the way up to the top. I'm kind of unclear on where Hobbs's objective is right now.
Yeah, it's really hard to say with a play like this. Is he just getting back up out of the valley? Is he going for, say, the Kuro's Perch experience orb?
I mean, at this point, you also have to wonder, what is Hobbs looking for? You could ask what is Galaxy looking for, but I'm fairly certain that she's going around because she doesn't really internalize that she can use Charge Jump to break that barricade. So I don't think Galaxy is making this loop to search. She's doing it just to make progress to the next tree. Hobbs is pretty clearly continuing to try to search and going through quite a bit of trouble in order to go up top again, even though he has Feather, and so Misty Woods is in logic. I guess Hobbs just wants to go to Sorrow first. He's almost dead. All right, he made it. He'll make a save. Or at least rekindle his save or something like that.
Yeah, and Galaxy, it looks like, went around and did Sorrow essentially the casual route. Now trying to bash her way up through this crack, and she gets it. The downside to this is she actually spent 4 keystones doing that, and she doesn't have any left.
Oh my god. Yeah, you even see Galaxy kind of waving her mouse around that area. I didn't think about that. Galaxy does have Feather, and there are 5 pickups remaining. There's a keystone. All right, so crisis averted. Galaxy can now dupe as many as she needs, and that number is 6 that she needs. 4 here and 2 for Swamp. I wonder if Galaxy is going to remember that she also needs 2 for Swamp, though.
Yeah, we can hope so.
Well, meanwhile, Hobbs got a successful Sorrow Bash. Didn't get it first try, but he is through. In just a moment, the wind current in Sorrow Pass begins just a little bit above where Hobbs is, right about there. So he'll be able to float up. Hobbs is probably going to get Charge Jump if he goes over to the left and checks that keystone. Knowing his playstyle, he probably will do that. He's actually going to just skip it and start going around. This is a surprising play.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see Hobbs do that.
Yeah, I'll be curious to talk to him if Hobbs decides to talk to us afterwards. I'm curious to see what his thought process was. I mean, of course, Hobbs can't know that that particular pickup was Charge Jump. So it's not fair to, you can't criticize him for not getting Charge Jump. He doesn't know that's Charge Jump. That said, Hobbs is a thorough enough player that it's interesting to me that he skipped that pickup.
Yeah, the way he's been playing so far would have suggested to me that he would grab that. On the left, Galaxy did remember that she needed more keystones and duped up to 7 before spending 4 on that keystone door. So, good memory there, as Hobbs is moving the rest of the way up Sorrow Pass.
Yep, and Hobbs is going to skip right on past that Charge Jump pickup. Hobbs is currently sitting at 6 keystones, so he doesn't need to duplicate any of them. All he needs is 4 for this door, and he doesn't need any keystones for the other 2 trees he has left, Light Grenade and Misty Woods. With this, though, Galaxy, I believe, only needs to go to Swamp. And Galaxy doesn't have Sunstone yet, but of course, the Sunstone is that stomp pickup directly next to the stomp tree.
Yeah, Galaxy checking that experience orb in the drain area. Good memory to remember that that is in play for Swamp. We'll see how she decides to tackle the Swamp area. She knows that she needs to search for the Sunstone, but also that she needs to get that stomp tree. So we'll see in which order she decides to go for things.
Yeah, so JHobz got to his charge dump tree, backed out immediately, and he'll go to his teleporter. Looks like he's going to go to Valley and head into Misty Woods, then still has to do Light Grenade. Galaxy, meanwhile, is continuing to be very thorough, which makes sense. Obviously, she's looking for the Sunstone, but it won't take her long to find it. Galaxy, for obvious reasons, isn't going to attempt to do some like ridiculous long swim, even though I think she has Ultra Defense. So it'll probably only take Galaxy another 30 seconds here, maybe less, to get up to the tree and check everything.
Yeah, and she is heading it that way right now, as JHobz showing us the power of this triple jump, glide, and bash movement through Misty, much as Galaxy did earlier.
Well, pay attention to the right. Galaxy activated the stomp tree, is going to get her Sunstone right now. With that, I'm assuming it's going to be Altar straight to the finish line. Just one note, by the way. Our trackers seem to be not updating at the moment, so if it appeared that Galaxy still needed trees, she does not. She has all of them and is going to Swamp to get to the very end. Meanwhile, JHobz, it appears that he has 3 trees remaining. He actually only has 2 trees remaining, Light Grenade and Misty Woods. The climb tree, I should say.
Yeah, and he's almost to the climb tree now. He's just got maybe 30 seconds to a minute more of travel through Misty.
Yeah, I think that Galaxy is going for grenade jumps, by the way. She has all the abilities to do so.
Yeah, it looks like she's just barely missing the inputs there and gets it.
Yeah, so at this point, we use this phrase a lot, but it's Galaxy's race to lose. Galaxy doesn't have any more incentive to check any pickups. Is going to be coming up on her door-up attempts and then just has to do the final escape. The only obstacle in the final escape is poison water, but Galaxy has so much health that that's going to be a non-concern. She could become like a scuba diver and still survive.
Yeah, in fact, the only ability that Galaxy is missing from her toolkit right now is Dash. So she has all of the vanilla skills, certainly, that the final escape was designed around, so I don't expect her to have any trouble with this escape.
Yeah, by the way, JHobz also never found wall jump. Wall jump, again, being that grenade-locked pickup to the right of the Ginso tree entrance. It's not going to, like, cause JHobz's problems. It's just, I don't know, an amusing fact, I suppose.
And JHobz spamming that Alt-T on Wind Restored, letting us know his frustration with finding that after going to Sorrow.
Yeah, that's an unlucky placement that it was where it was. With this, JHobz is still checking pickups. He's going to check this map altar right now, and then he's going to head down into the Light Grenade area. He's actually already broken the barricade, even if he hadn't. He has Stomp, so that's not going to be a problem. JHobz, I think, might only have 1 ability point, but he has at least 2 other methods that he can use to get through this. Cannot do a grenade jump, but he can use triple jump and feather, or he can use bash grenade.
Yeah, and on the right, Galaxy getting a 3rd first try door warp. And she'll be beginning her final escape right now.
All right, so pay attention to the right screen for a moment. JHobz is doing he wants to get this in exactly 1. The reason is that JHobz only has 2 ability cells, and if he goes down to 0, he's going to have to watch the cutscene coming up before the Light Grenade tree. It is possible to do this taking exactly 1 point of damage, but using exactly 1 ability cell, but it's not easy.
Thankfully, he did duplicate his save file there, so he has a backup that he can go back to after just barely missing that trick.
This trick is not hard, but it's hard to do with one ability cell. Yeah, meanwhile, Galaxy is into the final escape, can use Stomp and Charge Flame to break barricades. With Bash and Double Jump, the fire is of no danger to Ori at this precise moment. Galaxy coming up on the Poison Water as well, but she can use Bash to get through very, very quickly. With Ultra Defense, she'll probably only take 2.5 points of damage or so. and successfully despawn Kuro. Galaxy is coming up to the very end. Will she go for an A jump or just finish out? Looks like just finishing out. GG to Galaxy will be taking the victory and maintaining her chances at making it to the elimination brackets.
Yeah, Galaxy there going to 2-2 in our 5 rounds of Swiss. Unfortunately, JHobz will be falling to 1 and 3, and that will put him out of contention for the bracket.
Well, with that, Hobbs did get his 10th tree, though. We will hopefully get a chance to talk with him. Galaxy hasn't finished yet, of course, so Hobbs, even if he's watching the SRL race, does not know that Galaxy is ahead. But with this, Hobbs will be heading back to the Swamp Teleporter, kind of getting trolled by the bouncy pad for just a second there. I don't want to kind of analyze the race too much, because I'd rather wait until we can have a chat with these runners. But I think that Hobbs was just very, very thorough for a long time, which is intelligent, except that it happened to be the case that all the pickups he needed, like Glide, like Wind Restored, happened to be at the places that he just hit, you know, kind of in the wrong sequence. Wrong being the sequence that he didn't really want those pickups.
Yeah, and even, I mean, even the, we'd call it a mistake if we really wanted to, for Galaxy going into Ginso Tree without enough keystones to get through that door, still gave her double jump, which she used to great effect in the time that she was looking for those keystones.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, Galaxy has finished with a final time of 53:03, 81 milliseconds. Hobbs is doing some bash glides, using bash grenades to get over to this this entrance as quickly as he can.
And then Hobbs will be going for his door warp. We'll see if we of course always hope for first try door warps.
We do indeed. Reminder that this is a frame perfect trick. For whatever reason, when you press up to enter the door on the frame that the game loads, the game auto corrects your position down to some place that you were not meant to be.
And Hobbs giving GGs to Galaxy in our SRL chat, so he is aware that Galaxy has finished the race.
Good sportsmanship. Hobbs got that. I think that was second try. Counting door warps is harder than it should be. I think that was second try.
I believe you're correct there, Grim.
Yeah, well anyway, Hobbs is activating the final escape. He does not have charge jump, and he doesn't have wall jump. Those are the differences between Hobbs' final escape and Galaxy's final escape. But Hobbs isn't experienced enough, not only Rando player, but Ori player, that I don't think this will pose any challenge to him either.
And chat, thank you for the correction. 810 milliseconds, not 81 milliseconds. Yes.
That is how math works. There's 3 numbers rather than 2. Thank you for the correction. Let's see, there's 1 bash, 2 bash, 3 bashes. We'll give some fun play-by-play as Hobbs finishes up here. Can't do the climb charge jump, but he can use charge flame to break this. With Feather, you can stall in the air long enough to avoid taking damage.
A nice bash glide there to save his momentum going through that entryway into that room.
Mm-hmm.
And then looks like, oh no, Hobbs never got ultra defense.
Yeah, I think you're right, and Hobbs took damage from the fire down in the column, which is what caused him to be at low enough health where he couldn't quite survive. He was exactly 1 hit short. He just barely died before making it out of the water.
Yeah, so we'll expect to see Hobbs be a little bit more careful with his health here as he comes to this elemental room, and he makes it through without taking any damage.
Yep, that one looks a little bit better. Again, carrying that bash glide all the way over. Right, that's movement that Hobbs will be familiar with from regular all skills, albeit slightly different. This time he's gonna bring. He can't do a Hobbs can't do a rocket jump because he doesn't have dash. So he's just gonna, I think, maybe play with this fish a little bit. It's gonna die in a second, though. I think showing off.
Oh no! So it looks like what Hobbs was doing there, and he succeeded at it, was double bashing the fish out from out to skip that Kuro spawn. And it looks like over in SRL, JHobz has decided to forfeit from the race.
That's okay. I think that Hobbs just wanted to show us that he can skip the Kuro spawn using the fish rather than using other more sane methods.
At the very least, it was definitely entertaining. So thank you to Hobbs for doing that for us.
Yeah, so GG to Hobbs. I hope that we get to chat with these runners. It's always up to runners' preference whether they want to interview. Just completely up to them. So while Hobbs is sort of continuing to have some fun, tossing some grenades, watching that fire slowly rise up upon him, I will go ahead and see if we can get these two in for a chat.
And here Hobbs has 5 health plus just a little bit of a tick extra from health regen, so he'll make it out of the water cleanly. We'll see if he uses bash grenades to skip that Kuro spawn as well. He does very cleanly. Finds the upper border of where the wind is an updraft, and he'll be bashing his way out and finishing officially now. GG Hobbs.
Looks like we're going to be interviewing Hobbs. We're not going to interview Galaxy, but I just want to... Selfishly, I'm curious, so I just want to talk to Hobbs for a minute.
Yep, and of course it is our runner's choice to interview. So, GG Galaxy. Hope you do well in your match next week, and in your doubles match if you haven't played that already this week.
Cool. Well, I'm going to go ahead and pull in Hobbs. Hey, Hobbs.
Hello.
GG, dude. Nice fish strats at the end.
Yeah.
So tell me about that seed. Kind of, you were thorough for quite some time. What is it you were looking for so long?
I didn't have a way to do Sorrow. I had 8 health with no Ultra Defense, which means even if I had Ultra Defense, I would have only been able to take 2 damage through the Spike Cave. So I could have done the Tumbleweed strat, double bashing the Tumbleweed, but I was trying to avoid doing that because it kind of sucks. So I was looking for either... I needed at least 1 more health, first of all, which I wasn't even 100% sure I could do it. I needed more ability points, or I just needed Glide. And Charge Jump or Dash would have been like nice because they would have meant that I could definitely do it with less health.
Yeah.
And it turns out all that stuff was just right on the way because that's Randomizer for you.
Yeah, I want to ask about an earlier decision as well. The seed was pretty linear for quite some time, like all the way through the Spider Sack area, but then you had an option to go to Swamp or to go to Grotto or a number of places. What made you decide to go to Grotto first as opposed to the Swamp Loop?
Grotto has 35 pickups. The next highest is like 28, and I've been burned before by going around the Swamp Loop, so I just decided to go to Grotto. Why? It was like Charge Jump over there or something?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. You know, you'll hear it if you watch it back. I don't think going to Grotto was a bad play. I was just curious.
Yeah, the other thing is I could do all of Grotto already. I think I already had 4 energy, or at least I had like 3 or something. So I was close to being able to do literally everything in Grotto with Bash Grenade and all that. So I was like, well, 35 pickups, higher density.
I like that you know the number of pickups, by the way. Like, I mean that sincerely. That's good knowledge. Like, rather than just going based off feel. If that makes sense.
So I've got a question for you, JHobz. After you finished out Grotto, you decided to sequentially double bash a spider shot to get yourself into the Stomp Tree area. What were you thinking that made you decide to do that?
So that was me being dumb. That was my thinking was, all right, I first thought I'll go and do the normal swamp entry. And then I thought, oh, if I go in this bottom route, I can go get to the tree and then leave like out the normal swamp entry way. But I forgot that I wouldn't have a way to break that one ceiling on my way out. So it was just a routing error. That's all it was, really. Because the Sunstone Clue was in swamp, so I thought there was a decent chance that I'd have to clear all of that inner swamp area and then still go back out and check the outer like Ginso loop. So that was all that was happening there, me just being an idiot.
With that loss, you are unfortunately out of the elimination bracket. So I don't want to ask, how if the tournament went as well as you expected, because that doesn't seem like a very positive question.
I got 3 out of 4 Bash Grenade seeds. I can't really there's not a whole lot else to it, to be honest. I made plenty of mistakes. It wasn't solely down to that kind of stuff, but it sucks. Oh well, what can you do? It's rando.
Well, I guess to that end, I'm going to ask you sort of a maybe a strange question. What's your what are you most excited about for the the experimental 3.0 randomizer, specifically some of the bash grenade changes, maybe?
I mean, there's some good bash grenade changes planned. That'll be nice, but I'm excited to see where like this new like world tour game mode goes, because I think it could be very fun. I really want to see more. I want to see us experiment more with more like kind of different ways of doing the randomizer, like more side quest type stuff, not necessarily sticking traditionally to just the base game only. Really, 3.0 I think is going to allow for a lot faster and a lot more experimentation, which is really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. Hal, do you have any other questions?
I don't think so. You, Hobbs answered basically all the other questions I had for him, just with his answers to other questions. So,
yeah. Well, GG Hobbs, thank you for talking with us.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, and GG to Galaxy as well, even though she's not here in voice with us. That's going to do it for this particular match, but we have 2 more matches upcoming, all on Speed Gaming 2, so the same channel. The next one is going to be Meldon versus Ronnie at 6 p.m. Eastern, so that's about 24 minutes from now. So if anyone wants to see more Ori action, feel free to go grab a snack, go to the bathroom or whatever, but make sure you come back at the hour and we will have more matches for you. Otherwise, thank you to Grease and Skull for tracking. Thank you to Tara for restreaming, and Hal, that was fun commentating with you.
yeah, thank you again, Grim.
Yep, we will see you all soon.